What's happening, every people? Thank you for coming in. I am the Mad Poet. We're doing a show again. It has been a few weeks. I've been extremely sick. We're still not at 100% here, but we are definitely getting a lot better. We found out that we had a Campylobacter infection, which is a rare form of food poisoning. Turns out we got it from our milk. And if you can avoid getting Campylobacter, I would suggest avoiding it. I'll tell you, this illness has made me want to do a lot more of three things: exercise, eat well, and stay away from people. Even though it didn't get it from people, it still makes me want to just stay away from people. Because staying away from people is just awesome. It's so good to be an introvert. I love being an introvert. It's fun to be an introvert. I like being an introvert. I hope you are all introverts too. Yeah, I'd never heard of that one either, obscure mysticism cults. We got the diagnosis back. Sarah had heard of it in her microbiology class. And I was like, yeah, that one is totally new to me. Never heard of it. Okay, craziness, but glad I'm feeling better. Glad Sarah's feeling better. And life is moving along. So I can actually do shows and have fun, play guitar. I actually didn't touch my guitar except for giving lessons for like 10 days. And even the lessons were a bit rough because I was not on top of my game. So it's good to be back, and it's good to see people back here. So let's do a little more music. We're playing City of Souls today, my 52nd album. And I just recently played this one about a month ago. I think I played this one for the first time live, and I'm kind of at that not 100% point. So I'm like, okay, I don't even want to worry about doing an album I haven't done before or recently. So I'm just going to do City of Souls again. I think I'm going to do On the Contrary in the evening show. I'm only doing one album per show today, kind of a light day still. So let's move forward. We're going to slow it down a little bit here. 96 beats a minute. F minor. This piece is called Corroded Mines. Mellow feels kind of right to me today. It's I probably should have gone with a mellower album, actually. But mellow's good. I can deal with mellow. Nice mellow song there. Sarah is definitely an introvert, as she has pointed out in our chat here. One of the things that works well for she and I. No more smoke going. Oh, what's coming up here? This next piece, staying in F minor. If I recall correctly, there's quite a bit of F minor on this particular album. And I'm not sure why I did. I know for a while I was just kind of on an F minor kick. It's the position of it works for me on guitar. I'm not sure exactly why that is. I know that you only get, in F minor, you only get one open string available, which is the third string. Hey, Jerry, what's going on? Glad to see you, Doc. Appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much for the $5 tip. Greatly appreciate it. It's good to be back and actually doing show stuff. So yeah, F minor is kind of a bit of a thing on this album, so we'll stick with it. And we're picking it kind of a medium-paced song, if I recall correctly. This is called At the Gates of the Empire. Alrighty. Obscure Mysticism Cults, thank you very much for the $20 tip. That is greatly appreciated at all times. I'm glad that we got some chatting going on here. People are doing their thing. It looks like people are doing well, taking a day off, extra bit of rest, always good. Glad to hear that. So, yes, again, thank you to my tippers today. Very, very much appreciated. Doc is also off work. Looks like everyone's off for the day. I usually have my one student today, and she is taking the day off, so I have the day off as well. But I don't really consider what I do. I mean, I love teaching guitar. So, and I'm in like this. Thank you, Justin, very much. Greatly appreciated. I'm in this really unique position where music teachers will have a handful of students that do really well, and they'll have a bunch of students that they never practice, they never work on their skills in any way at all, they don't study, they don't do anything, and it's totally normal and it's expected. And so right now I have fewer students than I normally do, but all of them actually practice. And it's the most amazing thing, because every time I get online with a student, it's like, I know that I'm gonna have an awesome lesson. And it's been like, the last time I had a lesson that wasn't good, it was only because of an internet connection. So it's been like ages since I've had a lesson that wasn't just like totally awesome. And that's just such a great feeling as a music teacher to have that. Don't know how long it'll last. It's been like this for a good like 8 or 10 months. And I hope it continues like this, because it's a really good position to be in, having just all of these wonderful students. It's not that, and this is an important thing, it's not that all of these students are just inherently good musicians. It's that they all do stuff. That's the thing, they do stuff. You don't have to be, I am not an inherently good musician. I had to work to be able to play guitar and to write music and to do shows, and one of my lights isn't working. Let me see what I can do with that. Oh, I see what happened. Interesting, it's never gone wrong quite that way before. Switched to a different channel, but not this channel that normally switches. It doesn't matter. Lights are fun. The octopus says, which directly translates to the Mad Poet's next song is called At the Mercy of the Antagonist. It's in E minor at 136 beats a minute. I see we got Wango Tango Time in the chat. Thanks for coming in, buddy. I haven't seen you for a while. I hope you are doing well. Hope everyone is out there doing well, doing what you want to do. Having Doc and Wango in the chat is always a fun time. They tend to really keep things moving along, make it hard for me to keep up, which I appreciate. So let me catch up on chat here. Probably just Doc and Wango stuff. Doc says, I figure if I keep drinking enough antifreeze, I just might go out and brave the cold for a cigar. Well, yeah, I mean, what better reason could there be to go out and dangerously drive in snow than you filled yourself with poison and now you want to drive and now you want to smoke some more? That's beautiful. That's pure metal right there, baby. We're actually going to head out to nearby town, well, nearby for Eastern Washington, 40-minute drive to get a few things this afternoon. And yeah, that's something I think more people need to fire up the barbecue in the winter. I mean, why not? It's still barbecue, right? We made homemade burgers last night. That was awesome. Not on a barbecue, but homemade burgers nonetheless. Everyone gets to smoke. Remember, kids, smoking cigarettes is fun. And sarcasm is terrible. I'm a former smoker myself, so I'm okay with it. I have had a few cigars with Doc over the years. You know, I don't know if I'm going to do a pizza tonight, but since you're suggesting it, I probably should. I would hate to disappoint, so we'll give that some serious consideration. This next song, dedicated to my buddy Mike. Mike and I worked together in this great theater, the historic Everett Theater, for probably about 7 years or so. Volunteered there. We were on the board of directors, and did all kinds of stuff to set up stage and all that kind of thing. And Mike is just a super great guy. I learned a lot about theater from him. He really knows his way around theaters, and that theater in particular is just fantastic. It's got this amazing history behind it. Like Al Jolson has been on that stage. Lon Chaney has been on that stage. So it's kind of one of those places where, like, man, it's kind of an honor to have performed there. And I think I've performed on that stage 23, 24 times myself. Great experiences there. I've done heavy metal there. I've done classical guitar, punk. I've had a good cross-section of performance. I've given speeches on that stage. We hosted a what's that crazy movie with Meatloaf? I should totally know it. Rocky Horror Picture Show. Maya, thank you very much. Really appreciated. I've done a lot on that stage. It's been very fun. I've played saxophone on that stage, but never in a live performance, just on my own, because the theater is set up. It's an old opera house, and it just sounds amazing in there. Absolutely. You know, and speaking of, I don't know if any of you guys know who David Byrne is, Byrne, lead singer of Talking Heads, and just an excellent musician. He's got some great stuff. I recently read his book, How Music Works, and I strongly urge people to read that book if you have any interest in music. It's really fascinating. Parts of it are just kind of autobiographical for him, and parts of it are about the kind of the history of recording technology, but also he brings up some fascinating points about how music is created based upon the types of venues that we play in. And I think that there's a lot of very interesting truth to that, and I know I've kind of reflected on my own journey as a musician as a result of reading his book. I read it over a course of a week while I was sick, and it's like this little venue that I've created here is a large part of how I do my shows. And, I wouldn't do a show like this if it weren't for multiple cameras and the light setup that I do. And so it's kind of the premise of the book is that we think that music is like we think operas are created for opera. The opera halls are created so that we can sing these songs in them, but it's actually, this hall has been created, and then this is the kind of music that gets played there, that gets created in that. and that's with our technology and our physical spaces. So it's like the physical space and the intellectual space that you are in is really the driving force behind the kind of music you create. I don't know if I'm explaining that well. Read the book. Like I said, it's excellent. I'm not affiliated with him or his book at all, but I suggest it very strongly. So anyway, I've kind of gone off on a weird tangent there. I had to take a break. I've talked a little bit over the past, 6 months or so about how I've been reading Musashi. I had to take a break from that. I'm not quite halfway through it. It's such a huge book. And then when I got done with how music works, I was thinking about jumping back into Musashi, but I'm like, you know what? I'm still not feeling up to snuff here, so I'm just going to read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy again, because if I miss something in that, it really doesn't matter. And yes, there was a bear, and there was a happy little tree. This song is dedicated to Mike, and it's called The Collapsing Wall. Hey Hans, thanks for tuning in from, I believe, Germany. I know you're over in the Europe area, which makes it sometimes difficult for you to get into my shows. But it's great to see you. Hans and I met on the Old England Discord. He's a fellow guitar player, a very cool guy. And yeah, it's good to have him here. Good to have everybody here. Don't know who all is still with us, but it looks like we got a good crowd going here. Thank you for the compliments. And yeah, what do we got going on here? I was just thinking as I was playing that song that I did some kind of interesting music theory things in this. Anita, thank you very much for the $5 you threw on stage there. Greatly appreciated. I'll stuff that in my G string. This one. Like that last song, it ends on something known as a Picardy Third, which is where you're in a minor key, that's in A minor, and then you end on a major chord. And it's not something you see very often in rock music. It's much more common in classical. I have a few classical guitar pieces I've performed that do the Picardy Third, particularly Prelude 1 by Villalobos has a Picardy Third at the end. A great piece, E minor. Oh, Villalobos just has some awesome stuff. And so yeah, you don't see that often in rock. And I don't really recall what my impetus was to use that. Impetus? Are both of those pronunciations correct? I'm not really sure. It doesn't matter. But I do remember being kind of experimental with this piece, and the song before that was kind of going back and forth from like an F minor to an E Phrygian, and so yeah, some of the ideas in here, which is just kind of fun, just fun ideas. And because I've only played this album live once before, and then it's been year and a half probably since I recorded it, maybe more. No, gosh, it's probably been 3 years since I've recorded this album. So even though it's my music, a lot of it as it's coming up is kind of fresh. It's like, oh, what am I going to do with that? Where am I going to go with that idea? And it's kind of part of the fun, I think, of playing music the way that I do. And my buddy Steven, who's a really sharp guy and a fellow musician, he was recently commenting that this is kind of what he likes about seeing my online shows, is that it is kind of this journey, because it's like, okay, like what are we going to do with this idea now, or I hit a wrong note, like, okay, how are you going to get yourself out of this one, Smeghead? And so he feels as a musician that I'm kind of taking you guys on a journey with me to see where what the music develops into. And this next piece is another good example of this, where I look at it and immediately I look for a key signature before I play a song. So I see my one flat, I'm like, okay, this is in D minor, but then I look at the music, I'm like, oh wait, this is an E Locrian. And I've talked about Locrian before. Locrian is a very irresolute key. It's hard to resolve, to sound resolved in Locrian. It doesn't sound like we're finished there. So that makes playing in this E Locrian arena, so to speak, very interesting from my perspective. So let's do this. Let's see what I come up with today for an E Locrian upbeat piece called The Chasm. Here we go. Welcome, Therese. Good to see you again, as per always. Absolutely. What do we got going on here? Happy holidays, Teresa. Yes, absolutely. Right back at you. And yeah, people taking the day off, which is awesome. I'm glad you guys are choosing to spend your day off with me. I greatly appreciate that. You can spend your time on anything you want, and when you choose to spend it with me, I definitely appreciate that. I hope everyone knows that. Just kind of checking where we're at in the show here. Moving into song number 7. Looks like we got 10 on this album. So we're a little more than halfway done here and having a bit of fun. I have recently been doing 2 albums per show. I'm only going to do 1 today. I'm still a bit tired from being as sick as I was, and Sarah and I do need to pop into town, so nonetheless, we got 4 songs left. And this next song, as you may have guessed, is, ladies and gentlemen, the G sharp minor portion of the show. You are welcome. Thank you, Mike. This is called Illuminated Dreams. Did I see Xena just show up in chat? I believe I did. Welcome, Xena. Good to see you again. We just got a real personable group of people showing up today. There was a part of me that was like, oh man, it's Christmas Eve, no one's going to be there. And then I'm really glad I actually did the show. Because I was giving consideration to not doing it. This next song is a big part of the reason I wanted to do this show live. And I've talked a bit in the past about where I get my album titles and song titles from, you know, writing prompts and all that. I believe it was my 12th album. It's called The Croaking Blackbird Mystery. And that one I actually got from a chapter title generator for authors. Like, here's a bunch of chapter titles to give you ideas to write your book, which is a cool idea. Thank you, Doc. Much appreciated. I'm not going to try to say that name on stream. But yeah, so it came up with the title of Croaking Blackbird Mystery, and I used all the chapter titles as song titles. And I had a few left over. And this is one of them. This is called After Hours in the Blackwood Mortuary, which is just so colorful. I love that. And so this one, you know, I kind of wanted a frightening feel to it. You know, it's like After Hours in the Mortuary, in the Blackwood Mortuary. That should feel like something. That should frighten people. I feel like I did a decent job of getting the right feel for that name on this song. It's kind of a slower paced piece. I feel like it kind of growls at you a bit. 88 beats a minute, E minor. This is After Hours in the Blackwood Mortuary. right. Thanks for the compliments on that. Someone's having a gloomy, Zena's having a gloomy Christmas, so that works. Christmas should be gloomy, shouldn't it? Good metal Christmas. All right, we got 2 songs left for the show today. We're gonna slow it way down on this. And then this one, I remember I played this album for the first time just about a month ago. Might have been like 3 weeks ago. And I got to this song, and normally, like I was talking about just a little while ago, I look for my key signature, like, okay, what have I got to play in here? Because it's important to know what key I've written the song in. And because this one is just all synths and stuff, and on my live sheet music, I take all the synth sheet music out because I don't need to see it. All that was left was drums, which doesn't show a key signature. So I was like, ooh, I gotta like put an extra staff in here that's empty just so I know what key to play in. Doc says, I think I'll spend the holiday weekend collecting fresh skulls to make some soup bowls. I think that we need a lot more skull artwork and functional utilitarian items. So I say go for it. I do have an album title coming up. It's going to be Bag of Bones. And I'm looking forward to playing that one back to back with Bucket of Blood. The Bucket of Blood and Bag of Bones show. And they're out here, I'm in Eastern Washington, desert area. And so you can go out and look around and you'll find these kind of like dips in the geography where you're at, and water will flow through them, and at certain points it just bones of animals just collect there. So I'm gonna go out in the desert, I'm literally gonna fill up a bag full of bones for that particular album cover. I've got the burlap bag. When Sarah sells stuff on eBay, so she'll be out at Goodwill sourcing stuff, and I'll be like, hey, if you find a burlap bag, grab that for me. So she brought a burlap bag home. I'm gonna fill that sucker up with bones. It's gonna be, I know exactly where to go for it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It really is pretty cool. We've had some friends come out, and check out our house here in Eastern Washington, and people will be driving to Eastern Washington, look at it like, oh, everything's just so dead out here. And it's like, if you go out in the desert, oh, it's like just stunning how cool deserts are. It really is. And we're kind of fortunate out here. We do have rattlesnakes, but they're a very kind of low-level rattlesnake. They're very reclusive, so you don't tend to see them. And they don't tend to kill people. They're not the real brutal, deadly rattlesnakes that exist in some places. We also have badgers. And we've only seen 2 in the couple years that we've been here. They're also very reclusive, but that's something you don't want to mess with, is badgers. Louis Therese says, we just started building a ginger. Oh, awesome. Yeah, and tell Riker hello from the Mad Poet and crew. Could you just look in my freezer? Or you could just look at my freezer. Oh, for bones. Yes, I'm sure I could, Doc. Yeah, Bag of Bones will be fun. Doc says he loves the Eastern Washington desert. Yeah, I agree. It's so well, and I believe Wengo also lives out here in Eastern Washington, so he understands. He knows what's going on. Crotalus v. Oregonus. Is that? But it's not deadly though, is it? I don't think there's been a death by a rattlesnake bite in Washington since like 2009. It's been quite a while. It's fairly rare. Oh yeah, right now, yeah, you're not going to find any snakes right now. They are huddled up in their little snake holes, just being dormant right now. And yeah, because it is pretty chilly out here. There are certainly colder places in the world you could live, but that does not make Eastern Washington warm in the wintertime. So yes, we have a very, very good furnace system in our house here that keeps us nice and cozy. Yeah, I wouldn't say any of the snakes are good to be bitten by. Even, a boa constrictor, which is, kills in a very different way than poison. Still, just being bitten in general, I'm against having pain inflicted upon me because I'm really selfish in my life. So, and if it was, they deserved it. Yes. All right, so we're going to slow it down here. Second to last song of the show. This is called In the Presence of the Dawn. I'm going to have to agree with Wango on this one that as an Eastern Washingtonian, not a big fan of Moses Lake. Sarah and I both are kind of like, we got to go to Moses Lake. It's not the best. To me, we live in a small town out here, and that's where the really fun exploration is at. If you come to a place like Eastern Washington and getting out to the small town exploration, that kind of stuff is really awesome. There's a picture on my Discord of Sarah and I in Tokyo, Washington, which is Tokio, and it's a it's just a couple of grain elevators in one little house. And it's kind of a cool story. Up until 1998, it was a fair-sized town. It had like something like 1,800 people. And then there was a brush fire that just took the thing out. One person died in the fire, and everyone else was okay. And then everyone just relocated. They never rebuilt the town. So it went from this, fair-sized small town to just nothing. They put a couple of grain elevators back up, and that's it. So yeah, no, the small town exploration is pretty good stuff. And yeah, I will say, Wango and Doc, a couple of the statements, a little bit too far. So use caution. You guys are smart. I know Doc kind of has a little bit of a permission in the tip notes, the tip names, but I do have kids that watch, so we do want to keep it kid friendly. I've got a few students that tune in, and I don't think anyone can't handle it, but we're all good here. All right, we got one more song tonight, so we're gonna pick it up a little bit. This is C sharp minor. No bad words. I understand, but there were some references. So we're gonna get into the last song here. This one is called Eulogy to Grief. All right, gangsters, that is all I got for tonight. Doc says, Matt tried to convince me to switch to palm olive, but I ended up stabbing her in the neck. This is good. All right. Please understand me. I'm not upset with anybody. I think you guys are all awesome. I appreciate everyone coming in today. Appreciate my tippers. Obscure Mysticism Cults, Doc. If there was anyone I missed, I don't think I got any new followers, but just in case. Oh, and you know what? I just realized I had a whole bunch of people talking on Nemo, and I didn't look at it. Oh, a bunch of people were on Nemo, and I just noticed it. My apologies to Nemo. You guys were on a different chat window, and I was not paying appropriate attention. Apologies for not interacting with you. I'm still getting used to the whole multicasting thing, so welcome everyone from all of my other, streaming platforms. Apologies. Don't worry, cool. Actually, this one, this chat one is actually kind of hard to read. The colors kind of blend in on itself. So, yeah, apologies for that. But yes, thank you very much for coming in, everyone. You are appreciated, and I will try to remember to keep a better eye on Nemo and other chat windows. I'm going to have to try to find a better location for this monitor. That's... Because I've got a 4-monitor setup. I've got my main chat over here, which covers like 7 different platforms. And then I've got my sheet music, I've got my broadcast software. I need to find a better place for that 4th monitor. That's the primary use of it. So again, I do appreciate people coming in, and I apologize to those who do not get recognized in chat. I will try to do better. That is entirely on me. And I will be back tonight at 8 o'clock. I'm going to be doing my 56th album, something like that. It's called On the Contrary, and hopefully we'll have a good time with that. So thank you all very much. Have a great night. Have a great holiday, Christmas, whatever it is you celebrate out there. Whatever it is you do, do it well.